Hello, use no to advance the conversation. So that's the topic for today's sales training for financial advisors. And as a preface to this, as is to many of the techniques, these are small little things that you do to make the buying process, if you will, easier for your prospect, easier for your client. And of course, you're always ethical. You're just trying to help them make a decision that's good for them. And I want to stress again, pretty much any technique you have, or methodology, or style, or even just simply personality, is just to help someone along. You're not going to make someone that says that really doesn't want to go with you say yes. And someone that really wants to go with you, you're probably not going to have a hard time screwing it up. This is for that mid-range, that maybe 60% off the center line where they're up in the air, and you want to make everything a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, a little bit softer, less stress, less anxiety. You're reducing the amount of anxiety someone is potentially having or will potentially have while dealing with you and dealing with money. That's all you're doing here. So most people in our society don't like saying yes, especially in a sales situation, right? Or in any kind of commitment type situation. They like to say no. So the idea is, instead of fighting it, is you use that as a way to advance the conversation. It's been said that almost anything that you say or any question you ask is either helps you figure out that you're not on the right track, or it helps advance the conversation at least one little step. And so this is such a technique to do that. So there's really two of them. I'm going to break this down two of them. The first one is what's called a negative inverted tie down. I'm not going to get into tie downs now. It's a whole nother training we'll do, but basically it goes something like this. Mr. and Mrs. Client, or Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, you wouldn't have a problem just having me take a look at your current situation, would you? Now, the way that's phrased is it lets them say no, but the no really means a yes. Remember, they'd rather say no than yes. Now, they mean yes, but they're saying no. And so this is the formula for this is you wouldn't blank, would you? Right? You wouldn't blank. You wouldn't have a problem, or you wouldn't mind letting me take a look at your current statements, or you wouldn't mind at least further investigating this, would you? Right, so it takes a statement and turns it into a question. It's called an inverted tie down because the tie down part of it's in the beginning of the sentence, and it sets it up in a negative way where we're saying no, they say yes. So that's the formula. So whatever it is that you'd either like to do or get agreement from them to do, is use that. So you wouldn't mind, or you wouldn't have a problem with blank, would you? Or for example, you're at the first appointment, and you want to set the date for the second appointment at the end of the first appointment, right? Never leave the first appointment without having the actual date. Don't say, hey, I'll look at this and call you a couple of days and I'll set a time to get back with you. You don't want to do any kind of situation like that. You want to leave with the date. They may change it, you may change it, but leave with the date in your phone, in the calendar. Let them see you put it in the calendar, okay? But you might say, Mr. Johnson, you wouldn't mind if we went ahead and set the time and date for our next visit, would you? And when you do something like that, always, it's soft, it's gentle, it's not aggressive, it's a little bit of a nod, even though they're saying no, but it's an affirmative type of question, affirmative type of methodology. So you're nodding your head. It's all subtle, right? Because what you do, they're a mirror. What you do, they do. Okay. So that's one right there. It's very simple, very easy. You wouldn't mind, or would you be against if? But whatever it is you want to say or get commitment, and then you say, would you? Okay. And then they respond to that. All right, let's go to the next one. Next one is basically taking some key statements that are normally said in a positive way, or normally said in an affirmative way, and you're going to turn them into a little bit of a negative way. Okay. So I'll give you some examples. So do you agree? Does this work for you? Would you still like to? Do you have a few minutes to chat? Is this correct? And those in itself are actually pretty good statements and questions, and most salespeople don't do that. They talk way too much. They don't ask for small agreements along the way. And I know you all know that. You've got to actually start doing that, even though it's out of your comfort zone. But to make it even better, you can convert it to a negative. So let me just actually do a screen share. And I'll still share them with you, but let me just, so you can see them. And there's not that many. There's only, and once you get the idea, then you can just, whatever your favorite kind of statement like that is, you can just convert it and transfer it into that. All right, let's go over here. All right. So you should be able to see that. So here, for example, do you agree? Instead of saying, do you disagree? Do you disagree? Does this work for you? Is this a bad idea? And depending upon your personality and the relationship with the person at that moment, you can even be a little tongue-in-cheek. Does this sound like a bad idea? Right? Putting your retirement money into a tax shelter. Or you could do the inverted tie down. That doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it? They get to say no means yes. Okay. Does this make sense? Is this a ridiculous idea? And I'm not saying you do it all the time. One of the challenges with all of these techniques, if you do the same one over and over again, it'll trigger. I mean, they're not stupid, right? They'll realize. So you only use it a few times during a presentation or a meeting with a particular prospect, but it does work. Okay. Would you still like to, whatever, meet next week, or still like me to take a look at it? Hey, have you given up on this? This is a good one, by the way, for if you've had a prospect that's kind of led you along, they haven't said no. Hey, call me next week on Thursday, and I'll see where I'm at. Like, they give you that kind of thing, right? And for whatever reason you want to continue, because maybe it's someone you like or someone you care about, and you want to help them, or frankly, it's a nice size case. So a nice one is, hey, have you given up on this? And you can hear the tone, right? Depending upon, again, your personality, if you can get away with it, and what relationship you have. It's a little tiny bit tongue in cheek. Hey, George, or hey, Mr. Johnson, have you given up on this? They get to say no. What they really mean is, well, they mean no, I haven't given up on it, which is an affirmative. Okay. Hey, do you have a few minutes? Or hey, is now a bad time? Now, of course, again, as I said in the beginning of this call, when someone really wants to do something, they're going to say yes, pretty much no matter what. If someone really doesn't want to do something, they're pretty much going to say no, no matter what. So if it is a bad time or they don't want to talk to you, they're going to say, yeah, actually, it is a bad time. Okay, so it's just, these are all little small things that collectively together make the entire process a little easier. You're moving them from step to step to step. It's all gentle. It's all easygoing. It just takes practice. Okay, so there's some examples. You can just screenshot that. You can see that. There's tons of them. But try to, as you're preparing your presentations, as you're preparing your talks, your scripts, all the things that you're doing, is you want to start converting some of the stuff in kind of a negative vein, so that they end up saying no and they really mean yes. Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You get the idea. And then the tie downs, we'll do a whole training on that. But basically, the one I want you to learn for today is the inverted tie down, right? You wouldn't blank, would you? Right? So it's an excellent one to use, and it's always soft. It's always gentle. It can never feel like you're boxing them in. It's got to be almost to the point where your dream goal, the ideal, which probably none of us will ever reach, but the ideal is that no one ever even notices. It's all just, wow, talking to that guy or talking to that gal was just really smooth and gentle. They never even hear it. So it's not trickery. It's just that it's all a conversational. It's thrown in, and it's thrown in with the way that you talk with them. Okay. All right, that was it. That was the using no to advance the conversation.